up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel, the most handsome dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. What is up, Adrian?
What's going on, my guy? It's always good to see you. How you been? How you doing? How's the family?
Oh, I am here. I am alive, and I'm thankful for that. Not that there's any reason I wouldn't be alive in specific, but just, just count my blessings, I don't got much. Don't got much. I got a good family. I'm alive. I've got a podcast.
That's all we can ask for at the end of the day.
Hang out with you, I just got to be happy for what I do have. Thankful for what I do have. But how about you, sir? How are you doing today?
I'm doing, man. I'm doing. This Monday has definitely been a Monday. I don't know if everybody just suddenly remembered that they had stuff to do that they didn't do on Friday and decided, you know what? We're all just going to do this thing at the same time on Monday and call in and keep Adrian on the phone for literal hours. But that's okay. We made it through.
Crazy. Yeah, that was always the worst. When I was office manager at a pest control company, which basically for a small company, that basically means I just ran the place. I was in the office and I was the only one in the office answering phone calls, not just for people needing to reschedule things, but people wanting to start new services and they have questions. And I would basically do a whole inspection on the phone, like instead of sending a tech out there, waste time and money. I just go on Google Maps, look at the property, ask them questions, and then I could give them a bid and all that. Whatever. There was a lot involved, a lot I had to do, a lot of hats, which I'm sure you totally understand that.
Yep.
And the worst, Mondays were hard because you're just coming from a weekend. But for me, it was the Friday afternoon night when I'm ready to get off, and then all those phone calls come flooding in. And the phone would just keep ringing. I'd be trying to get out the door, and then the phone would ring. All right, let me take it. I couldn't just let it go. You're
better than me. If I'm trying to get out of the door, it's going to have to wait till Monday. Yeah. Absolutely not.
I would just keep taking stuff. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And finally, after a little bit, my boss even put an automatic shut off on the phone. So at 5 o'clock, it automatically it wouldn't even ring. It just went straight to voicemail. I was like, thank you, John. Thank you. Because it was just one of those things where it's like, the phone's ringing. I should probably answer that. I'm right here. It might be, you never know. I might make a big sale and get a bunch of.
I was going to say, it might be that $1 million customer. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I made a lot of sales, surprisingly, on that Friday evening slot, but no, not.
What's it worth? Is it worth your sanity?
Yeah. No, that's not true. I didn't necessarily make that much. The ones I did make, they ended up being pretty nice. I was like, oh, okay, that was worth it. But honestly, a lot of times, anything past 2 o'clock on a Friday, the phones were dead. And I think that's what the annoying thing was. It would, I'd take my lunch break, and it would just be dead all afternoon, just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I got all my the task for my week done. I'm just sitting here waiting for phone calls and nothing's coming in, and so I just be kicking it, and then as soon as I'm ready to go, then it's ring, 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 ring. It's all right, nah, you guys.
You know what it is? It's everybody else that's been putting their call to you off all day.
They've been until
they're getting ready to go home, and they're like, let me just call them real quick, and then I can head home.
Call them on my way home from work. It's true. Yeah. A lot of the calls you could tell, because
they're in the car.
You could hear them, you hear the road noise or whatever. Hear the kid in the back seat. It's all right, you're on your way home from work or picking the kid up from school. Now you can call me.
Not Thanks. Fooling nobody.
Oh man, good times. But let's get into it here today. We're going to be talking about Square Enix's new multi-platform push, Microsoft starting a new studio a week after shutting down 4 others. And Call of Duty's Day 1 Game Pass release. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome, just like all of those folks there, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1, and you get episodes early and ad-free all month long, such as this show. You get access to our Patreon exclusive shows like Season 1 of Super Gamer Book Club and our monthly episodes of Super Later Boys.
Should we amend that? Should we be like episodes of Super Letter Boys as they release?
That's what we should say. I don't know I think the intention was always to be monthly, but I don't know if we really promised that. And let me tell you, we definitely have not adhered to that. But the last 2 months of my life have been kind of,
I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have Phil Spencer that one if I were you. I'd have just said, yeah, we intended to put some out. You know what I mean?
In what way did I Phil Spencer that? What did I say? That was.
You're like, yeah, we didn't get them out. You know what I mean? Like Phil Spencer, he was like, yeah, we lost the console generation. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we could put more out. We could. Yeah, we have put some out, but we could put more. That way, you know what I mean?
Okay. I'm just, people here, they like us because we're honest. And
that's fair.
We've been very honest about. At least my situation I'm in right now, still unemployed. So it's one of those things like, yeah, sometimes life gets busy and, your work's been busy. So we're doing our best. And
sometimes life just lives. You know what I mean? Like,
It's true.
And it's nice. And you want to do stuff for folks, but it's kind of like, man, I don't know if I had a capacity for this right now. I'm just really not feeling up to it. The whole 9 yards. And that's just part of life. And
it's part of life.
Every day ain't hunky dory, unfortunately.
But we do have 6 episodes that are up that are very fun.
We do.
We have a couple with some guests. We got a couple that are just solo. Hopefully we'll be able to record one soon. I'm just now realizing it's the end of May, which is insane. May blew by. For not having anything going on in my life right now, like usually when there's nothing going on, like life kind of drags. This month flew by so fast. It's kind of terrifying. I don't like that at all. So support us over on Patreon to get Patreon exclusive content such as Super Gamer Book Club Season 1, Super Later Boys. We got 6 episodes out currently, early and ad-free episodes such as this show. And some various other perks that you'll hear about later on in the show during our ad spot, which, again, if you support us on Patreon, you won't have to listen to. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's get on to some shout outs here. Huge, ginormous shout outs to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on our show. We appreciate them so very much. Currently, you should be hearing the wonderful, wonderful music made by one DJ Trooz. And you can find links to his music in the show description if you're on the podcast app or YouTube. Check that out. Click those links to Spotify and Apple Music. Show him some love. Add him to your favorites. Add him to those playlists. They got some good stuff. I like DJ Trooz stuff because he has his Digi Jams, which is very much like he's if you can't tell, very much into Digimon. If you watch any of his streams, even it's like all like Digimon themed like overlays. I love it, all those alerts and stuff. Very good. But then he has another one, just Trooz and Chill, and it is like just so chill.
That's my favorite. I put that on all the time, just when I'm doing stuff. Just it's great. It's great music, and it's even better background music.
So good. So yeah, go show him some love. DJ Trooz even streams on Twitch, Trouser Schnauzer. He's been on our show. He's been on a Super Later Boys episode. So if you've ever seen any of his content, like his music, go follow him on Twitch too. He's a good guy. All right. With that, I think it's time to check the mail. Let's boot on up a little Super Gamer Bot over here.
Let's do it.
What's Action Geeks? We've got quite a few questions this week. I guess they must lie to guys or something. You ready?
Oh, are we ready? Yeah, we got quite a few questions this week. It was exciting. It was exciting to finally see the mailbag get some love. I feel bad about just
consistent.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, it's true. The last few weeks we have had some questions. So thank you all so very much taking the time to go over to our Discord, which is at supergamerboys.com/Discord. Join us over there. It's totally free, open to anyone. Come hang out, talk about video games you've been playing, movies you've been watching, music you've been listening to, and leave your questions for this segment. So without further ado, Super Gamerbot, do you mind reading off that first question?
Classic Dave asks, who was your starter Pokemon in Pokemon Blue version?
All right, they've been replaying Pokemon Blue. Adrian, What's that starter? Which one are you going to? Pokemon Red and Blue. It's Charmander.
Are you kidding?
That's Bulbasaur, and that's Squirtle, correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And
so,
it's the 100% correct answer is Bulbasaur. It's the grass starter every time. I've always picked the grass starter.
That's wrong.
No.
Bulbasaur
has the highest defense. He has the highest defense. And the first 2 gyms, you walk straight through. You knock the rock gym out because rock is weak to grass, and then you knock the water gym out because water is weak to grass. That's an easy head start on the game right there.
Is that though? Because it's an easy win though. Do you get as much experience and are you leveled up as much? Because in my opinion,
you get more because you're doing the super effective hits.
I don't know. I think the correct choice is 100% Charmander. Because it's fire.
Not a bad pick.
Because you got to get the Charizard at the end. That's what it's all about. That's what everyone cares about.
Okay, hold on.
No one cares about any other Pokemon in the game anyways.
Wait a minute. Can I say something? I think Charizard's best quality is just looking cool. I don't think he's actually a good Pokemon.
Cool. Okay. All right.
Okay. I mean battle wise, I don't think Charizard is that good of a Pokemon.
I mean, he can burn anyone up. So here's the other thing too. Think about this opinion is coming from a playthrough of this game that I did when I was probably 6, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the way I played and kind of still play today is very much like, if it does damage, you keep it. If it doesn't do damage, get rid of it.
Why are you playing like that? They didn't make all those moves for you to ignore them.
That's how I've always played Pokemon. That's how I always will.
No.
Even as an adult, I try to go in. I'm like, maybe I should like use some of these other moves. And within like a few hours, nah. He's even. I need to make space. I need to make space for a new move. Get it out of here. That one doesn't do any damage.
God.
Worthless trash. Burn them up. That's all. You just need like the freaking like flamethrower and fly and just like beat them up. Also, Squirtle is probably my favorite like basic evolution though. He's just so freaking cute. I love the little Squirtle and like the Squirtle. What's it?
He's a cute little dude.
What's the? Is it Squirtle Gang or what's the little crew?
Squirtle Squad.
The Squirtle Squad. Yeah, I love the little Squirtle Squad. They're so good. Those stupid little sunglasses.
On that project, we might need to change our fashion choice to that. I'll leave it. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
On the summer project, maybe we should do that.
I mean, that's a copyrighted or trademark.
No, it's not.
Image.
The glasses?
Oh, the glasses. Okay. I thought you were saying throw Squirtle on something.
Or one of us should.
But no, yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Ah.
Oh, man. So good. That's a good one. Carrie had a pet turtle named Squirtle in real life.
You got good taste.
Did you paint the turtle?
No.
You gotta paint it blue.
I hope you didn't.
You know, you want to know what? Okay, this is gonna.
Here we go.
This blew my mind the other day, and I don't know if this is actually true. I haven't done any research, so this is out, like totally pulling this out of my butt right now. But it was one of those moments where I'm like, that just changed my entire worldview. I was thinking about, I've been doing a doodle a day because I'm a terrible artist and I want to get better at it. And they say the way to get better is just by
just doing it. So
that's what I do every day. I just do a little doodle. And surprisingly, they are getting better. They're not great, but I'm like, whoa, wow. Looking at my first one, the one I did now, I'm like, okay, that's a lot better. Just in a couple weeks. Anyways, I did Squirtle one time. And while I was sitting there like pondering the meaning of life and its why in existence, I was like, Squirtle. A squirrel turtle. He has a tail like a squirrel, but he's a turtle. I was drawing his tail, and I realized this is a squirrel's tail. It's like a curled up squirrel's tail.
It's
He's
a triple
squirrel.
entendre actually, because squirt, water.
That too, yeah.
There's
I
three.
mean, that's why I always assumed that he was called Squirtle, because he'd always squirted water. But then when I was drawing him, I'm like, wait a second, he's a turtle with a squirrel tail.
Yep. No, I mean,
I know it sounds super basic. You're just in your head. You're like, Garrett, you're such a dummy. But honestly, that blew my mind. I'm like, he's a squirrel turtle. What?
Right.
Then I was trying to figure out what Charmander was. I'm like, Charmander. No, that's nothing.
Char salamander.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I guess that's not as good.
Char,
though.
burned.
No, yeah,
right?
I get it.
You burn something, you char, and then it's a salamander, a lizard, which is what the family that Charmander is in.
I get it. No. I get that. It's just not as good. I feel like
it's no way, dude.
turtle.
Game Freak was on fire back then. Bulbasaur is technically a dinosaur. Come on, man, with a bulb on its back. Let's go. Let's go.
No,
the three legendary birds: Articuno, Uno. Zapdos is Dos, Moltres is Trace. Come on,
pretty good. Those were pretty choice.
Let's go.
Gary says better than Ekans, and what's the Arbok too? This is Snake and Cobra.
Those they phoned in. Those they had to go home early that day. I'm not gonna hold you on that one.
Oh, so good. I love it. All right. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. Fire.
Nidoking, the king of needles. Come on, man. Nido.
And they're all like poison type, poison needles. Very good. Very good.
They were on fire.
Better than freaking trash bag that they have nowadays and stuff like
Trubbish, trash and rubbish. Whoa. Hold on now. Let's not disrespect Trubbish. Whoa.
Get out of here. No one actually knows what they're doing over there now. I mean, this is how. Okay, Trubbish, all right, that's a little clever, but I just don't like the design of the Pokemon. But fast forwarding to like present day Pokemon, I think what I'm realizing right now, what's hitting me is that's just how far they've fallen that I can't even think of a name of like a modern Pokemon. Like, what are the starters in the new one? There's
Grookey.
No, that was last gen.
No. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You can't even Sprigatito.
Sprigatito.
Only reason I know that one
Coco?
is I don't
Quaxley.
Okay. Yeah, those are it. Yeah, but other than that, like name one other like current gen Pokemon.
What's the one that looks like Mega Man?
There's one that's literally like a car engine or something. Like, what's the name of the car engine one or the lawnmower or whatever it is?
I'm trying to remember the one that looks like Mega Man. You know the one I'm talking about too.
No, I don't. That's the thing. Like, I didn't play a ton of the
I don't think there were that many
new.
Were there that many new Pokemon this gen?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Sharkadet, thank you, Carrie.
That's what I'm saying. We should know. There wasn't that many. We should know all the new ones because there wasn't that many. But that's how like not memorable they are.
That's fair. Oh, Delivered. Come on, man. Delivered.
Delibird,
the red bird. I think it was Gen 2 that had the sack on his back. Delivered.
What I always
they
loved
were
about
on fire sometimes.
What I always liked about Delibird was like
it's not Delibird, it's Delivered.
Yeah, I always pronounce it Delibird. He has like the red back, but I love his design because he has like little poofs of feathers on like his hands and feet and ankles and like around his neck. But then like the rest of his body always looked like, at least as a sprite, I'm like, is he like
pajamas?
Like a naked? No, it always looked like a naked, like a plucked chicken or bird to me. Like almost like he didn't have anything on. Yeah.
It always looked like he was wearing long johns to me. The red long johns.
Like looking at a picture, like looking at like a hand-drawn picture, it looks that way. But I feel like the sprite was very like left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, they didn't have a whole lot of colors to work with.
I was like, what is going on here with this? But I was also like a dumb little kid. All the way back from Gold and Silver, huh? He's been around for a bit.
He's been around a minute.
Carrie's with me. Always says Delibird too. There you go.
I said Delibird at first until I learned it was delivered, and now I can't go back just because of how genius the wordplay on that is.
Crimson over on YouTube says, "How could you forget the creativeness of Great Tusk?" Is that a Pokemon?
Great Tusk isn't. It's like a boss version of a regular Pokemon that they call it. Like, you know how like Legend says that this version of this Pokemon they called blank blank.
Oh, it's one of the Paradox Pokemon from.
Yeah.
I see.
It's a regular Pokemon. It just has a mod on it.
It's a relative of Donphin.
Right. It's like an ancestor.
Why is Donphin called
descendant,
Donphin?
depending on which version you have.
Hmm? Why is Donphin called Donphin? That's what I want to know. It's an elephant.
I know the fan part, yeah, is the elephant, but I don't know what the Don part is.
I don't. But anyways, thank you so much for
God, Pokemon are so good, dude.
I know.
How could you not?
I wish I had more time in my day to just play more games because I would just fill it with Pokemon, honestly. Like for years now, I've been wanting to do a playthrough where I start like back in like first gen and work my way up through because I haven't played first. It's like some of those early gens I haven't played in a long time. Like Ruby, I go back to a lot just because like that is the last thing I ever played. So like that's the one I always fire up first when I when I got the emulator on my phone and stuff like that. It's like, all right, fire up Ruby, jump in. But I would love to go back to something like start at first gen and work my way through all the gens. Because after Ruby, like, yeah, I missed a bunch. It's like, that'd be so sick. Maybe once I finish Kingdom Hearts 2 on stream, to start a Pokemon run, just going through all the gens. see how that goes. Although the thing is that when you stream Pokemon, everyone just assumes you're going to do some special like
modded
version, or what's the other thing called? Like
Nuzlocke.
Nick's do, yeah, the Nuzlocke, the Nicklock that he's doing right now. Have you watched any of that? Go over Kind of Funny.
Yeah, a couple of them.
It's pretty hilarious. But honestly, he's actually getting pretty good. It's surprising. He went from like not knowing anything about Pokemon to like, oh, he's got to figure it out. He's getting pretty good at this now. Him and Snowbike.
He'll probably play the next one. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's awesome. This next question, Super Gamerbot, do you mind reading that off?
Sir Prince Ulan asks, if two main game characters had to swap worlds, who would you pick and why?
All right, we're swapping two main characters. They're leaving their world, leaving their game, going somewhere else. Who would you swap?
Interesting. I think tricky. A fun one would be, since they're already PS2 mascots, I think swapping Ratchet and Clank with Jak and Daxter would be pretty interesting to see how they handle each other's worlds.
I like that. That's a good one. I'm surprised,
even though they kind of sort of already did that with Rift Apart. Did you ever do that? Did you ever notice that? In Rift Apart, there's a certain weapon that you can get that'll open rifts, and other objects will come in from other rifts. And one of them would be that Sly would show up with garbage from his world and help. Oh. And then another one would be Jak and Daxter come in from their world. And then
I don't think I ever used it. I got that weapon, but I never used it.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
Then Nate's car from Uncharted would show up as part of the garbage and stuff like that. It was awesome. What from Horizon?
Aloy?
No, not Aloy. The T-Rex one.
Oh, the dinosaur thing. I don't remember.
I can't remember the name of it, but that would show up too as one of the things that was awesome.
Oh, now I feel like I need to fire up Ratchet and Clank and try that weapon. That sounds awesome.
You should. 10 out of 10 in my book.
Dang. I love that game. I mean, I even I don't think I platinumed it, but I 100%ed it kind of thing. Like I just went through and unlocked everything, did all as much as I could, and I love it. I adore that game. So much fun with that game. For me, this is tricky. Okay. These are two. I would want to swap. This is hard. I kind of had an idea, but I'm like, nah, that'd be dumb. Let's go with Kirby and Crash. All right.
That actually works.
So I've been playing a lot of the Kirby. What's the one on Switch? Forgotten Kingdom or whatever it's called. Is that what it's called?
Which one?
The new Kirby game on Switch. Forgotten Kingdom?
Oh, Forgotten Land.
Forgotten Land.
Also amazing.
I've been playing that with my two boys. Actually, I mean, they've been playing. I just sit and watch. They've been playing it for on the weekends. We let them play it. Saturday, Sunday. That's their time. They get a little bit of time to play it. It's actually surprising how far they've gotten. They've gotten through. You've played it before, right? They just beat the boss on the ice world.
Yeah.
And they're heading to the desert.
I beat that game. Yeah, I adore that game.
And they're heading to the desert. So you know kind of where they're at. And they've done it like 99% on their own. Like there's only like 2 bosses I had to like half help with. Which is crazy because my oldest is 6 and my youngest is 3. And they're just like cruising through this game. They're like it's like the 4th.
I mean, that's usually what Kirby is for, right? It's supposed to be accessible for the younger audience.
Yeah. It's just surprising to me because like they went into it like, it was rough. It was rough to watch because it's like understanding how to use a controller. They were.
It's good for them to get their bearings,
and they still barely know how to use it. But just like watching them like roll and smash their way through. But anyways, seeing some of like the I don't know. They both some like the boss battles are showing up in Forgotten Land and like the different enemies and stuff. I'm like, it would just be really fun. I was thinking about with like jumping in there with a Crash character, and then even having Kirby with like his abilities and stuff to be able to fight some of the, because the Crash bosses and Crash enemies are even more zany and wild and crazy. Like Kirby ones are like interesting and cute, but Crash ones are like crazy and zany. So it's like Crash going from like this crazy world to like this almost like calm peace. It would almost be a vacation for him, I feel like. Like,
right.
Oh, this is so
he
much
wouldn't know
easier.
what to do with himself.
And then Kirby would just be filling up on freaking Wampa fruit, just like loving it. And then what the heck is this like monstrosity I'm having to fight? This dingo dial, like all this crazy like mad scientist and like failed experiments and stuff. Oh man, poor Kirby. But he just like kicked their butt. Imagine Kirby sucking up freaking dingo dial and taking on his ability, like getting the gun ability, like shooting crap and stuff, or sucking up Tiny and just turning into like a giant freaking beefed out strong, like that meme version of Kirby that you see where it's like the big honking muscles. He would turn into the meme version of Kirby. Just giant muscles. That's what I want to see right there. That's fun. That's a fun one. I feel like we can keep going with that one, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for that, Sir Prince a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually one more question here. Super Gamer Bot, mind reading that for us?
Crimson asks, what is your Mount Rushmore of Mario Party games?
Crimson wants to know your Mount Rushmore of Mario Party games.
Right.
Piggybacking off of their question last week, they asked about favorite Mario Party. So this week, what are your favorite mini games, Adrian?
All right. My favorite, my Mount Rushmore. Somebody said, what's a Mario Party game like? This is what I would tell them. Here we go. Number 1, all-time Mario Party classic, Hot Rope Jump. Now, for what I'm going to explain what they are, since just in case you've never played Mario Party.
Hard.
Right? Hot Rope Jump is basically 4 players are lined up in front of a jump rope that is made up of the little flames from the Super Mario series. And you have to jump. There are Shy Guys turning the rope with the flames, and you have to jump over the flames as many times as you can. Now, the rub is it's not the same speed every time. Sometimes they'll speed up, sometimes they'll slow way down, and sometimes the flames themselves will get big and go blue, which means you have to jump all the way up and not a short jump. And you have to be ready for any of these. And it goes faster and faster every 10 jumps. So you have to be, and if you get to 100, then you win, which I've done before with other people who are just as good as I am. And man, it is white knuckle Mario Party madness. Freaking love that game. Love it.
So good.
My number 2 pick is called Mecha Marathon, where everybody takes you're basically on a racetrack with 4 lanes, you and 3 other players, and you have to press A and B as fast as you can together to wind up your mechanical Shy Guy plane, right? And you have to wind it up with the most out of everybody. So you're tapping the button, going as fast as you can. And once you have to step back, you watch everybody's mechanical plane go, and you want yours to be the furthest out, to travel the furthest distance. Oh, I am untouchable at that game. That's one that I can gloat on, that like I do not lose that game. My number 3, I think me and you share this one, is Bowser's Big Blast, which it's not a skill-based game, it's just a luck-based game.
Yeah,
so there's
100%.
a giant Bowser bomb head above everybody, and up from under the floor come about 4 switches, and they're all random colors.
There's
and
5.
you have to 5, excuse me.
That's
5
what makes
random
it
switches.
Even more interesting is like there's 1 extra one. So even the last person, it could still be a 50-50 pick.
Yep. You have to pick one of the 5 different switches is rigged. So basically you have to pick one and hope it's not the rigged one. And you do this over and over and over again. And every time one player picks right, one of the switches gets removed. So now your chances of getting the bad switch go up 20% every time. And it's just luck of the draw, dude. It's so good.
So good.
I think that, what is that? 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then my 4. My 4th is it's an older one, but basically everybody gets a picture of an enemy, a character, or whatever on the ground, right? And you're all riding jackhammers, and you have to use your control stick to trace out with your jackhammer character all around the outline of it, and you have to get the best, score rating of like, oh, you traced it the best, whatever. That one is tied with, there's one I think it's in Mario Party 3 where you'll get a certain character and then it'll show like the character's face, right? And then it'll distort it all crazy looking. Like it'll pull lips down, it'll pull ears out, open up eyes, all that. And you have to try your best to recreate it by moving different parts of the face. And whoever gets the most accurate depiction of it wins. Those are tied for me for number 4 for the Mount Rushmore. Oh man, Mario Party is so good, dude.
I love that 3 out of my 4 we line up on, actually. So I have Mecha Marathon on mine, I have Bowser's Big Blast on mine, and I actually had Facelift, which is the stretching one.
Facelift, thank you.
Yep, I love Facelift. That one's so good. So I guess my number 4, to be a little bit different than Adrian, it's a basic one. But honestly, I just love it because it's so much fun to troll the other people who are playing.
Please say look away. Please say look away.
No, this one, it's Mushroom Mix-Up. And all
That's
it
a good one.
Is like the platforms go up and down, or they start dropping and sinking. You all got to get to the one platform that's going to stay put, and the rest of the platforms are going to drop into the water, and whoever's on those other platforms are going to drown. But you can butt slam people and like stun them, so then they can't move. And like just if I am just in a troll mood, just like spamming the hip drop, the butt drop button, and just like bam, 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 bam until everything starts dropping, then quick getting out of there at the last second. Oh man, it's just, for me, it's more just the cries of the people I'm playing with, like, Garrett, stop it right now. Like playing, I mainly play like when we play Mario Party, it's like me and Trudy, and then my parents love it, so it's like the 4 of us, we get together and just Trudy and my mom getting so ticked off. Just, Garrett, Mike, stop it right now. He pulls out the middle name, like, oh shoot.
All right, time to hang it up. Before we go, honorable mention to 2 that I had to debate hard, which I already said 1. 1 is Look Away. That's one where it plays a little music jingle, and at the end of the jingle, basically it's like it's a 1 versus 3, right? And it plays a little 5-second jingle, and everybody is
it's a 1v3 game.
Yeah, it's a 1v3. So the one person at the end of the jingle looks one way. It could be up, down, left, or right. And the other three have to make sure that they're not looking the exact same way as the one. So I could be looking up as the one, and you better be looking left, right, or down. If you look up the same way as me, you're done for. You're out. That game,
that's a good one.
That game
too.
rips.
It's hard. It's really hard. Even like, doesn't matter what side you're on. It's hard. Like, I don't know. It feels like because as a solo person, it's like, dang it. Like, how do I trick people into like looking the right way? And then for everyone else, because at least in Superstars, there's like a half a second where
you can switch back.
Like the solo person can do something and everyone else has like half a second to respond. So it's not like both at the same time. It's like solo person first, and then the other three have a chance to like react. So if they have bad reactions, then it's great. But if they have good reactions, then it's like, oh, this game's impossible because they have the opportunity to see what I'm doing before I can change.
Right.
Or before, I can't change. Whatever I do is locked in. So yeah, that's a fun one though.
Yep. That one and Shock, Drop, and Roll. I don't know if you know that one. That's another 1v3, right? So everybody is on a giant cylinder. Three players are standing on a giant cylinder suspended above an electrical current at the bottom. And there's one player who has a lever that controls the cylinder going forward or backward, right? So the one player is using the control stick to push the wheel forward or pull it back. And the other three players have to run on the wheel, and they have to match if I'm going forward or backward, or else they're gonna fall off. And I love that game so much. It's such a troll game because I'll go forward and then reel back, forward, back again, back, forward, back. Oh, it's so good. I love Mario Party, man.
Just messing with people.
Nasty work. I love that game.
So good. Love it. Well, thank you all so much for writing in your questions. We appreciate it. It's always fun to answer those and connect with you guys, the listeners. So if you have questions, remember, join our Discord. It's free. And ask us anything you want, and it might make it here on the show. All right, with that, let's move on to this next part of the show where it's time for the nerdy notes.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
Perfection. All right. This is the part of the show where we look at the news. Sorry, I'm bringing up my the overlay for you YouTube viewers. Audio viewers, you should go check out the YouTube because you can actually see the article. That's what you want to do. Or maybe it's hard. Maybe you don't want to because you're driving a car and you shouldn't be looking at your phone. So don't do that. This first news story comes to us from The Verge. Square Enix plans to aggressively pursue multi-platform game releases. Written by Ash Parrish over there. Everybody's getting bitten by the multi-platform bug now. Now it's Square Enix. In its earnings report released earlier today, the publisher shared plans to increase profits, stating that it will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs. Right now, Square Enix's biggest games like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth have been restricted to the PlayStation, with PC releases for the select titles, including Final Fantasy 7 Remake, integrate, following some time after console launch. However, smaller new releases like the forthcoming Visions of Mana are seeing simultaneous release on Xbox. The company wrote that it hopes bringing its major franchises, including its back catalog, to more platforms will build an environment where more customers can enjoy our titles. It's a policy Xbox has started to pursue, releasing its exclusives on any other platform like Grounded and Pentiment on Switch, and highly praised but ill-fated Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation 5. The news that fans can expect more Square Enix titles on more platforms was coupled with additional reports from the company is undergoing a round of layoffs. According to a report in BGC, the publisher is planning to let go of an unconfirmed number of people across its US and European businesses. The Verge has reached out to Square Enix for comment. Earlier this year, industry analysts have speculated that Square Enix's most recent game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, hasn't been selling as well as expected. Square Enix itself has not shared sales numbers for the game, despite doing so for Final Fantasy 16, 15, and Rebirth's direct predecessor, Final Fantasy VII Remake. This shift to multi-platform releases then might be in response to Rebirth's apparently soft sales and the fact that Final Fantasy 15, one of the best-selling games in the franchise ever, released both on PlayStation and Xbox, selling over 10 million copies worldwide. So yeah, Square Enix might be backing off from the PlayStation exclusive launches, which I don't have anything against that. I mean, yeah, I have a PlayStation, so I get to play them all, but honestly, if it means they're going to be able to make more games and make more money to make more games, then why not? Why? What's the deal with the exclusivity? Other than it's just like a kind of a historical thing they've done. You know, it's been that way for a long time, but right? Because Square Enix and previously Squaresoft and stuff, like generally their games mainly came out for in the early days, I guess.
I was gonna say, well, back in the day, Square and Nintendo were like this.
Yeah, and then it went PlayStation, and they've kind of stuck with them for the most part since. But I don't know. Do you think there's weight to them saying that maybe Rebirth didn't sell as well, and if that's a good reason? Like, I don't know. I was kind of surprised by that because there was so much hype around Rebirth. Like, it seems kind of wild if it didn't.
I think Rebirth was not going to. I don't think that there was a world where Rebirth did as well as Remake did. Because by the time Remake came out, it was 2019, right? And PS4 had already been out for 6 years at that point and had a crazy install base. So just on that factor alone, you were already going to have less. And then this is also the second in a trilogy where even if everybody who bought the first one bought the second one, it wasn't going to be, there was no way that could happen because the PS5 market is significantly smaller than the PS4. So there's no way you can even pass up the original number that Remake did. So I don't know if Square Enix is saying this disparagingly or if they're saying this as if, yeah, we knew that this wasn't going to do as well as Remake, just based off the market alone, right? Of uncontrollable factors that we had. I hope they're not, looking at this in a negative light. I do think that this is a good thing that they're deciding to forego exclusivity because, yeah, you would have had to dumb it down a little bit, but you're missing out on potentially the PS4 market. And I honestly, I don't know if there was any way you could have made Final Fantasy 16 run on PS4. You really have to dumb that down, and I feel like you really have to dumb Rebirth down to have them
when
run on
when
PS4.
I read multi-platform, I assume it's like modern platforms.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Gen. Yeah, and for the most part, probably PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, because I couldn't see Switch running either of those games either. That's for sure. At least not the current.
But
who knows?
You know what? With an install.
Maybe.
Yeah, with an install base of 145 million units, I'm gonna try to figure out. Try to figure out a way to make that game run. All right, me and the top brass at Nintendo and the top technical guys at Square. How can we do this? Right, that's too huge of a user base to ignore. I feel like.
They got Doom running on, like the new Doom remake games, and like freaking Skyrim. So I mean, it can be done, I guess. Like,
it can be done.
Skyrim's
it
not
ain't
a
gonna
new
look
game.
great.
But Skyrim's not a new game, but it's a big game. Witcher 3 is not a new game, but it's a big game. Doom is a newer game, and like it was okay. It wasn't terrible. So yeah, I mean, there's ways to make it work, but
I think also them not being on PC, day and date. What
I forget that the Crisis Core remake came out on Switch. That also, so it's not unheard of.
You can make it work,
yeah.
right? Them being on PC or them not being on PC for Rebirth, I feel like also was a really big detriment.
Which it will eventually. That's what Remake did. It was like a year later it finally came out.
But Square Enix isn't going to go back and be like, oh, now that, it's come out on PC, it's doing so much better. They're not going to do that. They're going to look at, well, it's not doing good right now.
Yeah. Right. Carrie says, even Hogwarts Legacy is surprisingly not too bad on Switch. Oh, interesting. I forgot that it even came out on Switch because it didn't come out at launch on Switch. It came out later.
It came out way later.
Yeah, like it was delayed a little bit, but that is true, that came out, and that's interesting to hear that it's not too bad. Because that was one of those games where I never played, but just seeing clips and stuff online, like it looked gorgeous. Like graphically, it looked absolutely incredible. But interesting. Yeah, I think this is a good plan. I don't see why, like, if you're a third-party studio, unless you're getting a crazy like payout from Sony, like Sony's paying extra. Like if it's like it'd have to be a super sweet deal for me to have exclusivity. And like if I'm a first-party studio, obviously you have to have exclusivity. But it's like Square Enix is like allowed to do whatever they want. They're a third-party studio. They're not, they're not part of Sony. So unless Sony is like basically giving them the moon, like, nah, move on.
Yeah.
Do it. There's no reason to stick around. Like, just like, like why have the brand loyalty? Like it's they're a business, they're a corporation. They don't care about you. That's what we would say to consumers. Like I would say the same thing to other businesses. Like they're a business too. They don't care about you. They just want your money, Square Enix. So
what you can give them.
Yeah, you might as well put it everywhere, and you could be making a lot more money.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I might differ a little bit from you there. I don't know if third parties should be exclusive to anything really. I think if you own that studio, of course it should be an exclusive. Like that's what you're using to peddle your hardware. But
yeah,
if I'm a third party studio, I want my stuff in as many places as it can be. I'm maximizing my potential. I want eyes on my stuff. I want people to be able to get stuff anywhere, right? Like that's a big deal that we're dealing with now, with older games, is the fact that, once they're off of these stores or once these old systems close down, there's no way to get them. So I want my stuff in as many places as I can get it so that, even if one place does go away, hey, this store shut down, but it's still available in these 4 other stores here. You know what I mean? So if I'm Square, you can even use that as a preservation angle to say that, that's a part of why we're considering this approach, is also for preservation's sake, which of course it isn't, but it's nice to hear. It's nice platitudes.
Totally. I think even with what I was getting at too is not even like a full on like permanent exclusive. Like I was envisioning in my head kind of like what Square Enix has been doing with a lot of games, where it is like a timed exclusive. Like 7 Remake eventually came out on PC, at least. I don't think it's on Xbox, but it just came out on PC. But it is like, and it was the integrated version. It was a better version of it. It came with the DLC.
Right.
What was the name of the DLC? I can't remember.
The Yuffie storyline.
Yeah, it had a different name. Intergrade was the name of the director's cut. Instead of calling it direct, they call it Intergrade, and then, or Deluxe, and then but the actual DLC had a name. But yeah, and that was included. So it's like so they have a track record of doing like timed exclusives, but like don't just stop at PC. Like put it everywhere. Like let's
it
keep
everywhere.
This trend on. And in the future, like why not just launch on everything? Again, unless PlayStation or Xbox is willing to pay a lot, I would never, like, if it's going to be exclusive, it would have to be a timed exclusive, because I'm right there with you. I would want my stuff everywhere as well. Like I don't want it stuck in just one spot either. So yeah, we'll see what that turns into. Who knows? Maybe Final Fantasy 17 come out on everything.
Yeah,
buy it day and date on the Nintendo Switch 2.
You joke? You never know.
Never know.
Switch 2 is supposed to be pretty hefty. That's what I'm hearing. So even if they have to scale it back a little bit, they should be able to make it work. I know Square Enix said that they were looking for, something to, or I guess ways to kind of cut back because they think that they're spending too much money or they're not making enough returns. I am willing to die on the hill and wave the flag for this cause. I would be just fine if Final Fantasy 7 or if Final Fantasy 17 looked like Octopath Traveler.
Oh, that would be so great.
If they use HD 2D with the power of whatever they can render with these current gen consoles, oh my God. Oh, the things that they could do with HD 2D, dude. I would love Final Fantasy. People would lose their minds across the board. But if you But it's like, well, we've already had what? How many? 8, 6 or 7 Final Fantasies that looks like this already? Why not?
Yeah.
HD
exactly.
2D Final Fantasy 17. I'd love that. They'd never ever do it in a million years. But how cool would that be?
When did the first? Let me Google it. When did first Final Fantasy game come out? First.
85, 84, 85? No, I'm thinking of Dragon Quest.
87.
87? Yeah, Dragon Quest was 85.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I feel like that'd be like an awesome like celebration thing, like an anniversary. Be like, all right, the new like in 2027 that would be 40 years. Is that right? So like
2027, yeah, will be 40 years.
So whatever Final Fantasy game comes out like around 2020, like in 2027, be like for the 40th anniversary of Final Fantasy, we're going back to our roots, and like even have the trailer like start out like really sick like CG, and then like kind of like
oh god, the meltdown on the internet would be so good, dude. Oh, the tears. Give them all.
Yeah, dissolve into like that 2D HD kind of style, and like, yes, do it. Going back to our
just
roots.
Imagine that style, dude, in crispy 4K, because it's not as intensive as 16 is. So crispy native 4K with that art style. Oh my god,
be pretty great. Carrie says, not to keep bringing up Hogwarts Legacy, but they had an exclusivity deal where they made a special quest for PS5, but the game was still released everywhere. I thought that was a good way to do it as well. Yeah, I mean, my worry with something like that.
Are you charging the full price on other platforms? Because that would be my issue.
Full price.
Because now you're asking me the same price for less content.
And missing out on content. Like that. I don't know. That seems kind of like, if I could still buy the content on those other places, then that's great. But if it is 100% exclusive on PlayStation, like, so I have to buy a PlayStation to play like that one mission. Like, I don't know. It's a little crappy. I don't know, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think if it's free on PlayStation, but you have to buy it elsewhere, that would probably be the best compromise for me, because everybody still has access to it.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of being charged full price. Like with Avengers. Remember, Spider-Man was only available on PS5 or what was it, PS4?
Yeah.
So but you're charging me the same $59.99, and I don't get all the content that everybody else gets. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like my concern. And not like, and to be honest, like even if I had bought that game, it probably wouldn't affect me at all anyways, because I'm not typically one to go through and do like 100% of all the content and stuff like that. So honestly, for me, it's like, whatever. But if I was thinking about that in like a franchise that I do enjoy, like, oh man, that'd be really crappy to be like, shoot, I don't own an Xbox, so I miss out on X mission, to do something with a special character or something like that. But the quest is being released for free this summer everywhere else. Okay, so yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so it's I see. So it was timed exclusive. So that even okay, then yeah, that's great. That's fine. Like the game goes out everywhere day and date. Just PlayStation has a timed exclusive on DLC essentially. That's not bad. Like, all right, because it'll come out everywhere else, and all right, yeah, they got I guess I don't know if it'll be free or if I'll have to pay for it, but even if it's just like,
who did it really good?
Like,
sorry, just speaking on the exclusivity front, you know who did it really good? Namco. When Soul Calibur 2 came out, every version of Soul Calibur 2 had its own exclusive character, right?
Yeah.
So you may have not gotten one of the other two, but you still got your own, right? PS2 had Heihachi, GameCube had Link, and Xbox had Spawn.
Yeah,
I thought that was awesome.
I love the one. What was it? If you had it was like Yoda, Darth Vader, and I think that was it. Actually, it was just
that was 4
because it didn't come out on Nintendo, did it? That round, it just came out on those two. So yeah, so it was just like Darth Vader, Yoda.
Which is cool, right? Because you can still charge the same price because you're still getting that extra character. It's just not the ones for the other two. So you're still getting the same amount of content. That's why I'm fine with it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that is a good point. That's a really good one. Everyone have their own exclusive content, and eventually, maybe it'll come crossover to the other platforms, maybe not, but at least you got something,
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, let's move on to this next news story.
Oh yeah.
This next news story comes to us from Kat Bailey over at IGN. Activision opens a new studio tasked with creating narrative-based AAA franchises. Activision has announced the formation of Elsewhere Entertainment, a new studio it says will focus on developing a narrative-based and genre-defining AAA franchise. Elsewhere Entertainment, which is based in Warsaw, is Activision's second Polish studio after the Krakow-based Infinity Ward, Poland. The studio has been working behind the scenes up until now, but this is its first public unveiling. According to the blog post revealing the new studio, Elsewhere Entertainment's team includes storytelling experts who have previously worked on franchises including The Last of Us, Uncharted, The Witcher, Cyberpunk, Destiny, The Division, and Far Cry. It is currently recruiting developers in hopes of creating a state-of-the-art, the next-generation gaming experience, which IGN understands is not a Call of Duty-related project. Little else is known about Elsewhere Entertainment's first franchise, though the post does mention the studio hopes to craft a franchise with an enduring legacy that resonates far beyond games. That would seem to point to a transmedia franchise that would try to replicate the success of The Last of Us and Fallout, or maybe just get its own theme park. To this point, Activision has been mostly known for its work in Call of Duty series, with Crash Bandicoot developer Toys for Bob opting to go independent following the Xbox acquisition. In addition to the Crash Bandicoot games, Activision Publishing has also released Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and Destiny. Elsewhere Entertainment's opening stands out in an industry that has lately been rocked by layoffs, and last week, Activision Blizzard parent company Microsoft closed multiple studios, including Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin. Activision Blizzard was also impacted by layoffs in the early part of 2024, with Blizzard being particularly affected. It's unclear when Elsewhere Entertainment's game will be released, though based on existing development timelines, it's likely to be a few years yet. In the meantime, Activision appears to be preparing to reveal the next Call of Duty at next month's Xbox Showcase, which is set for June 9th. So wild news to show up on my feed when I saw that Microsoft's like, you know what, it's a good idea right now. We got all this extra cash now. Let's fire up this new studio. No, that's not true. By the sound of it, this has been a process. Like, it's already been working behind the scenes. It doesn't say for how long, and then they're just now publicly unveiling it. But I don't know. It's still.
I feel like you could have held back on the announcement for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
a couple more weeks. I think I agree. I think this wasn't. This is just horrible timing. I think they had this in the works for a long time, and it happened to be on the heels of, one of the worst moves that they've made as a company recently.
Yeah. The only reason I could see this as making sense, because in my mind, it's like, well, if you don't have anything to announce, why do this? And I was like, oh, the only reason they're doing this is
recruiting.
What's that?
Recruiting.
Recruiting, or because they just said on June 9th, there's going to be a showcase where they're going to show off all new Xbox stuff. I wonder if there will be a trailer there, even if it's just like a 2-second, like OD style trailer that they did, where it's like the Kojima game, where it's just like, short, doesn't really show much, just like a teaser of a teaser of a teaser, and it's going to have Elsewhere Entertainment just get to everyone super hyped for something. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, why would they need to announce this studio even exist right now? Why couldn't they have waited like the 9th? That's just in a couple weeks. Like, they could have just waited the 2 weeks, given the news cycle enough time to churn for a little bit here. Give a little space between the shutdowns, let Summer Game Fest happen, and then be like, oh, by the way, here's a new studio. But the fact that it's a week after those shutdowns, I'm like, there has to be a reason, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if there is something going to be announced at the showcase, kind of showcasing what their game might be, what their project might be. At least like a very light teaser. I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
No, I agree. I feel like I would lean more towards, I think it's more for recruiting and also to get it out of the way, right? If their name's already Mud, why not just do it now? And then, you know what I mean? Just do it now and have your name be Mud for a little while longer and then have it all cleared up and under the bridge before June 9th starts, right? Before the showcase starts. That would be my thinking of why they went ahead and just did it now. That and recruiting because they need more bodies. But do you think that they gave the people at the studios that closed, do you think they gave them the option to even try to transfer over to this new studio? Or do you think they kept this under wraps from everybody and then announced it? Because I feel like if they would have given people who were losing their jobs the opportunity to be like, hey, you know, we're letting you know behind the scenes, we're shuttering your studios now. Look, a job is a job.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you guys got families and you're not going to be able to do it, but at least we give you the option to do so.
I feel like
Microsoft wouldn't have been as bad off now, you know, versus just shuttering the studios, right? Because then they could have came out and said, well, hold on. We did offer everybody a job at this new studio. And, you know, and to those who could meet those standards and to those who could, you know, take that opportunity, we did offer it, you know?
I'm right there with you. I would have hoped they would have done that. Like, they might not have, just depending on the timing of things. But sometimes, obviously people who are working within a big business like that, like they do hear things, they do know things before the public does. And that's why leaks happen and rumors are popping up. So yeah, maybe there's a chance that could have happened. And I really hope that's the case, that they offered positions like that. But I don't know. I have a suspicion that maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't know why.
It's wishful thinking. I don't think they did.
It's just the cynicism, but yeah, I have a feeling it's like, oh no, they probably didn't, and it's kind of sad. But
no.
I was trying to think in my head, what are some of the other? So there's Activision, there's Blizzard. They used to have Toys for Bob, and then they went independent. What other studios? There's King. That's it, right? Like so it's just basically this Activision, Blizzard, and then King. There's no other. Is there any other studios in that trio there?
No, those are the big parent groups.
Right. Okay. So is this under Activision, or is this like next to Activision? Is it going to become like the 4 now? Is that what's happening?
No, I think this is under Activision.
Okay. That's what I'm wondering then. What are some other Activision studios? Activision, because that's
isn't Treyarch in all them and Infinity Ward and all those guys? Aren't they under Activision?
You're right.
Raven. Before they went independent, Toys for Bob was under Blizzard, right? Or no, were they under Activision?
So there's Activision Shanghai, there's Beenox, there's Demonware, Digital Legends, Elsewhere Entertainment, High Moon Studios, Infinity Ward, Raven Software, Sledgehammer, Solid State Studios,
Sledgehammer,
Treyarch. Yeah. So interesting. So 1, 2, 3, like 4 of those are Call of Duty studios. I don't know what the other like 5 or 6 are doing. I feel like you never hear anything.
Call of Duty support.
I guess. Yeah. What has Beenox done lately? They've done support on Call of Duty games, and
told you
they co-developed the iOS game.
I would hate working at Activision because you're gonna be working on Call of Duty no matter what.
Apparently not now. That's the whole thing with Elsewhere. As I keep saying, it's not.
We'll see. We'll see.
Be connected to Call of Duty, but. Yeah,
we'll see.
I hope that's the case.
This project that they work on might not be connected to the Call of Duty, but they're going to be doing something Call of Duty related. Even if it's a small portion of the team, somebody at that studio is going to be running support for Call of Duty. Mark my word.
There's someone, even if it's just one person in a broom closet, like they have them doing like just cleaning up bugs and stuff. Oh man. So yeah, that's both kind of shocking, but also it was shocking to hear initially, but I think ultimately this was in the works well before that. It's just poor timing. So put away your pitchforks. You don't need to go after Xbox yet. You know, let's give give them at least till June 9th. Let's watch the showcase and see what if they have anything going on here.
Make or break. Make or break.
Yeah. Carrie says the janitor. Yeah, exactly. It's the janitor. It goes across the street to clean over at the Call of Duty studios while they're not actually working on the game, but happens to clean both studios, All right. This last news story comes from Ted Litchfield over at PCGamer.com. I love me a PC Gamer article. I never used to read them very much on the show, but then there was those 2 weeks where we read them. I just loved how sarcastic. What was that first one I read? It was so just they didn't hold back anything. It was so good. I love it.
I'm trying to remember.
It was a good one. Yeah, I wish I could remember what it was, but
wasn't it about Xbox too, or no?
It might have been. Xbox has been having a rough go the last few months.
Months, try years.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking the news cycle specifically. There's been a lot. We've been talking a lot of Xbox lately. Microsoft is reportedly taking the nuclear option, releasing the next Call of Duty day one on Game Pass. First reported by the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft is allegedly planning to make this year's new Call of Duty available on Game Pass from day one. According to the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft will officially announce the move during its June showcase in the industry's customary formerly E3-centered game announcement week. Microsoft's game subscription service has been a tentpole initiative in recent years, and its acquisition of iconic studios like Bethesda and Obsidian has led to old favorites and new releases being made available on PC, Xbox, and mobile for a monthly payment. Call of Duty has always been the big one, though. One of the most profitable media properties ever, no doubt a big driver of the $70 billion cost of buying Activision Blizzard. Call of Duty's inclusion would add a ton of value and new users to Game Pass. That's also a bit of a make or break move, and I find it hard to look at with anything but trepidation following wave after wave of layoffs and studio closures under the Xbox umbrella. Most recently, the beloved studios Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin. Part of the squeeze has to come from that fresh $70 billion Activision Blizzard-shaped hole in the balance sheet, as well as sluggish sales of Xbox Series consoles, so far matching the pace of last generation's underperforming Xbox One and moving half as many units as Sony's PS5. But Game Pass is also in a weird place, according to The Verge. Game Pass failed to meet its subscriber growth targets in 2021 and 22, while a recent IGN report quoted 2023 subscriber growth as having slowed down even more, with Game Pass inherently cannibalizing traditional sales of games offered on the service, confirmed by UK regulators as part of the Actiblizz merger process, reported by GamesIndustry.biz. Slowing Game Pass growth threatens to turn it into an especially costly blunder in the long run. So Microsoft has a lot of incentives to put the biggest gaming series ever on Game Pass. They could prove a huge shot in the arm for the service, with many traditional sales still going through on PS5. It still strikes me as a risky bet, though, that Call of Duty money is a guaranteed windfall that Microsoft now wants to adulterate for the sake of Game Pass's success. And as members of Digital Foundry...
What a term.
Yeah, right? And as the members of Digital Foundry pointed out on a recent podcast, once you've got a single COD release on there day one, it'd be hard to sell to Game Pass subscribers to go back on that deal for future CODs, should it not work out financially. Dave Oshry, head of FPS studio New Blood, told me earlier this year that they price their games once fairly reasonably around $20 to $25, but don't do any of those huge half off or more Steam sales so as not to devalue the games. You can see the same thing with how Nintendo rarely puts its games on sale. I might not like how much I'll have to shell out for the Mario RPG or Paper Mario remakes, but I can't deny it's working out for the publisher, which 10 years ago was solidly in last place among the big three. Call of Duty on Game Pass will likely pay dividends on subscribers in the short term, but the service as a whole may risk devaluing the entire Xbox catalog. So, Adrian, do you feel that, where was that quote, that putting Call of Duty on Game Pass would adulterate...
of course, you had to use that word again.
the sanctity of what is Call of Duty and Microsoft and Game Pass currently.
Absolutely not.
Is it going too much with the soda fountain? You know, making the all mixed in drink where we're dumping too many streams in here.
Absolutely not. This is nothing. It's the biggest benefit is to people who already use Xbox, right? Because if you think about it, right, Call of Duty it's still not exclusive. So it's going to come out on PlayStation no matter what, right?
Right.
PlayStation and PC.
For now.
But this Call of Duty, right? Let's say you put it on Game Pass. Game Pass is $15 a month, right? Or excuse me, $17 a month. If I'm on PlayStation, I'm not gonna shell out at minimum $300 and then have to continuously pay $17 in order to continue to play the game, when I can just buy it one time for $60 or $70 and then have it in my library and continue to stay in my ecosystem. It's not gonna work out like that. For Xbox players, it's an absolute boon because I'm already paying regardless for Game Pass, and now you're telling me I get Call of Duty for, basically for free with my subscription. That goes, hand in hand. I think that this is the most attractive to someone who doesn't have either platform, but is looking to decide which one they want to go to. But the problem with that is if Call of Duty can sway your opinion of what system to go to that clear or that easily, I feel like you've already made your choice of what ecosystem you want to go to. Because there's nobody that's that hardcore into Call of Duty and is not, doesn't already have an ecosystem of choice, right? You have to play the game to be a fan of it. So you're playing it somewhere already, and you're likely just going to continue with whatever ecosystem you have. So, yeah. I don't know. I think it's much ado about nothing, really, if they put it on Game Pass. Also, real talk reason, I spent $70 billion on Activision. I'm gonna put my game on my service. All right.
Yeah, I
don't care what you think.
I think in the long run it will be a positive, but I can see where the hesitation could be because I think their hope with putting it on Game Pass is they'll be able to hook PC players to get Game Pass and play on there, and I guess they're hoping people will buy consoles to then play over there. But I just feel like you just said it. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. People are going to play it where they already have it. So I don't think it's going to hurt them, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a positive as they think either. Right? Yeah.
If I'm on PC,
I think it's just a net neutral. It's just going to nothing. It's not going to be any different.
No.
Right? Like they might get a few, because at this point, if Xbox players aren't already on Game Pass, what do they even like? They're probably not going to jump on with a Call of Duty, right?
No, absolutely not.
So I don't think it's a negative thing, but I also don't think this is going to be the help they're looking for. So in my mind, it's like, no. Like the only people you might be able to get who aren't normally subscribed to you is, so if you buy Game Pass at its highest tier, you get access to streaming on other devices. So you can stream to your PC and you can stream to your phone. Okay, maybe I have a phone and a backbone. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll literally pay for the most expensive Game Pass just to stream Call of Duty to my phone like some maniac. Maybe they can get mobile people who are willing to have Game Pass even though they don't have a PC or an Xbox and just stream it to their phone with xCloud or whatever it's called, cloud gaming. But
that's not going to make me come over though, because even if I buy it on PlayStation, I can still remote play it.
No, I'm saying this is specifically someone who doesn't have any console, but maybe likes Call of Duty. They play Call of Duty mobile, and now they have access to Call of Duty, the full game on their phone. I'm not saying this. I'm just trying to justify it any way I can, because, like I said, this isn't a negative, but this also isn't a positive for Xbox. So I'm trying to think I'm doing mental gymnastics in my head to try to figure out why do they think this could possibly help. Because again, at this point in the lifespan, if you're on Game Pass, you're on Game Pass. And if you're not, obviously, I doubt Call of Duty is going to bring you over, because I'm sure a lot of those Call of Duty players probably, again, already have Game Pass or not. You know, I don't know. That's just me.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's just a weird. It's not a bad choice. Like I think it's a great choice. Like yeah, they have the franchise, put it on there. Like it should be on there, right? That's what they say. All of their games are that's always been their mantra. All of their Xbox exclusive games or the first party games come on Game Pass. So if they didn't do it, they'd be lying. So they should do it. But yeah, I just don't think it's going to help that much. Carrie does say, I think having COD in addition to other big games will help it just because it would show a lot more value to players, but COD alone isn't going to be enough for that. It's the amount of recognizable game names to advertise. Yeah, but again, like I just feel like this many years into Game Pass, like is Call of Duty enough to bring people over? Like again, I feel like if they haven't already bought it for Halo, they haven't already bought it for Gears, they haven't already bought, like I'm just saying, trying to think of other shooter games that might interest those same people in those same realms. Like, is Call of Duty going to do it? Maybe. I'm not going to say there's none, but I don't think it's going to be as large numbers they're hoping.
Well, not only that, right? But they're also, when she says, that alongside other recognizable game names, we are months away from being 4 years into the Xbox Series generation, right? And we're just now starting to get even wind of games that are coming out in another year plus, right? Which with the only one imminent is Hellblade. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
That are exclusive to the Series console.
That are exclusive to the Series consoles or to the Xbox Game Pass thing on PC. I'm gonna keep it real with you. As good as Hellblade looks, and it's going to be, that game's not moving numbers. It's not moving subscriptions. It's not gonna.
No. I mean, especially with how they've been marketing it.
But
I don't know if they ran out of marketing budget because of how much they spent on the game or what. But yeah,
you got to have a budget to actually run out of it, though. Not just they got enough to pay somebody to tweet.
Yeah. I love how that's their marketing the last week has just been posting like screenshots every once in a while. I'm like, this is it. There's no like,
and they didn't even start doing that until people started pointing out, hey, you guys haven't marketed this game at all. What's going on?
No hype trailer, no gameplay, no preview events. At least as far as, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there has been a preview event, but it wasn't like thrown in my face. Like you should be spending all the money to throw all this stuff in my face. Like, IGN
no YouTube
said,
ads.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like it's
no sides of buses, no newspaper ads, no print ads, nothing in the stores.
Yeah.
No billboards, nothing on GameStop windows. What? Do you even care about this game? This is a tentpole Xbox game? Come on, man.
No, they're just getting ready for Call of Duty to come to Game Pass. Call of Duty's going to answer all of their problems, solve all the problems. They'll never have to work a day again in their lives.
I would, Carrie, I would agree with you if Xbox had been delivering stellar Xbox Studio, Microsoft Game Studios content this generation, but the vast majority of it has just been okay. And I can't bite on $18 a month on just okay games and Hi-Fi Rush, right? I would just rather just buy Hi-Fi Rush for $30, and then that way I don't have to keep paying $18 for everything else that's just okay. That okay to pretty good, Yeah. They haven't had, outside of Hi-Fi Rush, in my opinion, outside of Hi-Fi Rush, they haven't had anything that it makes me go, man. I could see somebody buying buying a subscription to Game Pass, or even buying a console unit for this, And I said, we're over halfway through the gen.
Yeah, not much in their favor, that's for sure.
Right.
We'll see how this pays off for them. I don't know. I don't think it will. Again, I don't think it's gonna hurt them, but we'll see.
I don't think it's gonna hurt, but I don't think it's gonna help.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, with that is it for the nerdy nudes, and I think it's now time for our Patreon ad.
Hit it.
All All right, this is a part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 gets you episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, gets you Patreon exclusive shows, such as Super Later Boys, previous seasons of Super Gamer Book Club, and also helps support the channel. It's $1 a month. Come on, that's like less than a coffee. It's only once a month. You get all those awesome perks, plus you get to help us out. But we also have some other tiers I'd love to tell you about. We are on our $5 tier. Support us for $5 a month. About the cost of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And you sacrifice one day's coffee and you can get all those previous perks and the show notes early, so you know exactly what we're going to be talking about on the show. You know what the questions are going to be, what the news story is going to be, what we've been playing, and you can leave all of your own questions, comments, concerns right on that Google Doc. Leave it all there for us. We'll read it live here on the air. So if you want to be a part of the show, have your voice heard, if you have thoughts, you're not able to tune in, let's say on a Monday night when we live stream this, you can leave it there on the doc and we'll read it here live. You can listen to it later on podcast. Actually, not later, because immediately after the show, you would get it early. So win-win. We got our $10 tier. You could be a Super Gamer sponsor. Support us at $10 a month and get all those previous perks that I mentioned, and a big old shout out on the show at the top of each and every episode. We like to shout their names from the frickin' rooftops because they are awesome. $10 a month, we appreciate you folks over there. And top dog tier, we got the Patreon producer role, $15 a month. We got a couple of those. We had a few throughout our time doing this podcast. Adrian was one back in the day. And $15 a month, you get all the previous perks, and you can pitch us a show segment. So if you're like, hey, here's a fun way I could torture Garrett and Adrian, or here's a fun way, or here's a fun segment to do that's not torture and horrible, you can support us at $15 a month, pitch us that segment. All segments are subject to the screening, I guess I should say. So we've so far tried 100% of the bits we've been sold, but let me tell you, after Tall Tales with JJ, we gotta keep a tighter leash on some of this stuff. Tighter leash on you Patreon producer folks. So yeah, so think about supporting us over there. We'd appreciate it. We love all the folks from top to bottom over there on Patreon who support us. You're all incredible. Couldn't do this without you. You're keeping everything going right now. I mean, especially with me not having an income, it's nice to know that at least the podcast will continue on with your guys' support. So thank you so much for that. You can also support us at sgbstore.com. You can buy hats, you can buy shirts, you can buy stickers, you can buy coffee mugs. We got all sorts of fun stuff over there. Go check it out and stay tuned because some things might be in the works. And workshopping some stuff. Maybe we got some we have some fun stuff planned. So hoping we can get that out there, sgbstore.com. Stay tuned. Last but not least, you can subscribe over on Twitch. If you're watching at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, you can subscribe for free. That's right. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that with your Twitch account and drop big old $5 sub on our channel, but it doesn't cost you $5. We get $5 out of the deal. You get to pay $0. Free subscription. That's right. Not only do you get to help support the channel, but you get access to our emotes and you have access to ad-free viewing on Twitch. So any of our live streams, whether it's the show or while we're streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you don't have to deal with the frickin' ads. You can just watch us play games, hang out. So think about supporting us there. If you have that Amazon account, link it up with your Twitch. Drop that Prime Gaming subscription. We would very much love that. And with that, let's get back to the show. All right, we're back from the show. And I love Lula in the chat.
Oh,
Are you worth a frappuccino? She says. Yes, I think we're worth at least a frappuccino.
Hopefully.
Oh man. Adrian.
Yes, sir.
Is a very, very important question that this is a question I don't think I've ever asked you before, but I need to ask you right now. What you playing?
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
What you playing?
Oh boy, what am I playing? Pocket Poppy has been in the mix. I don't believe that there has been a day gone by that my pocket has not been in my bag.
Nice.
We are joined at the hip. Let me see. What do I always have my gold version.
Oh,
you see this here? Look at that game card case. Who do you know that keeps those, huh? I keep my stuff protected. Come on now. I got a little bit of Super Mario Land too. I go in between those two. I got a couple of Game Boy Advance games that I keep with me. A little. They're not pictured, but I have Final Fantasy 4 that I've been working on in and out. And man, I don't know what algorithm. I think I said this before. What algorithm magic that Analog is doing that makes Game Boy games look so good on HD TVs, but they just pop. You know, I'm so glad I went and got the dock too. Like I put it in there and it's like what the Super Game Boy was meant to be, you know? Yeah. Man, I freaking love it. And then when it's time to go, I just pick it up and take it with me. It's so awesome.
Was that restock last week? Was that just a week ago when you were like, hey, Garrett?
On the 10th?
Yeah. I love that.
Just do it and figure it out later.
Figure it out later. I'm like, Adrian, there won't be a later if I do this. There will not be a later. I will be dead. You will find my body in a ditch on the side of the road.
I don't know. I feel like you could have got away with it.
I'll let you explain that to the wife.
Look, you already know I can be pretty influential. Okay. If you want a pocket, I can get you a pocket.
All right, we'll see. Next time they go on sale.
Okay.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it because I know you've been talking about that and dreaming about it for so long. And yeah, when you finally got it, it was almost like too good to be true. It was like, there's no way. Did you really? How'd you do that? Man, that's been so
made
great.
It, boys.
So great. Lula says Pocket. It's the Analog Pocket, which is basically
if they built a Game Boy in 2024.
Yeah. Plays Game Boy, Game Boy
in the
Color.
2020s, that's what it would be.
Yeah, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games, but beautiful and perfect in every way.
That's why they call me Pocket Poppy.
That's why he's called the Pocket Poppy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've been knee deep in that. Also dabbled in a little bit of Fire Emblem.
Switch, 3 houses.
Yeah, 3 houses. Because I'm like, I've done the Golden Deer route, but I'm like, man, I should really look into doing the other ones. I still wish that me, you, and Nate could have done our triple play. Like each of us play a route and then do a book club about it so we can talk about the differences in the stories. I would have loved to experience it that way.
If I finish my 2 massive RPGs I'm playing right now, for Kingdom Hearts 2 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, maybe I could jump onto that. And we could, because he's been wanting to do
it, I'll do it.
He's been wanting to, he's talked about doing 3 houses Super Gamer Book Club episode for a long time. So we'll see. I need to
I'm
get
down.
through.
That game is so good.
I need to not do like 1 RPG is fine at a time, but doing 2 is kind of a lot right now.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I'll talk about when you're done. I'll talk about what I've been playing. But yeah, on top of that,
I was gonna say, thankfully, you're almost to the end of one of them. So,
yes, exactly.
But yeah, that's the majority of what I've been playing. A little spittle spatter here, but nothing worth talking about.
Yeah.
But what have you, good sir, been playing?
Surprisingly, I've gone another week without playing any Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is
because Kingdom Hearts 2 is just that good. I know.
It's all right. No, because Animal Well is just that good. I'm loving Animal
Well. Also fair.
And I'm realizing I think I'm getting close to the end, but I'm stuck. I'm like, so I ended up looking at my clock because after last week, I'm like, man, I feel like I put like at least 5 or so hours. And then we looked online and it was like, what? It's only like 6 hours to beat. Like, how do I only have an hour left? Then I got looking around on the map and stuff. I'm like, okay, I know the 4 areas I need to go. Like they're actually like flashing on the map. Like I've quote unquote found them. I just don't know how to get to them, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I know where I need to go, but I don't know how to get there. And it's driving me crazy. So I mean, you guys all know I'm dumb. I'm a dummy. I'm bad. I'm stupid. So like these puzzles, I'm like, I felt so clever the whole beginning of the game. And now it's getting to the part where you really got to use your brain. I'm like, oh man, what have I done? I don't know if I can do this. Still loving it though. I just love the vibe of it because it's like a little creepy because you just don't know what's going on, and not all the animals are super nice, and it's so dark. Still looks gorgeous on the OLED. Loving that. But yeah, so I've been playing Animal Well. That's taken up a lot of my time. But I did look at my clock on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I was curious. I'm like, all right, where am I at? Where am I at? I am 7, according to the PlayStation home screen, because they have it built in there now, which is really nice. Helps see your percentage through a game. 79% completed.
You're so close.
I'm so close. And
that's overall 79%? Or story
yes.
79%?
I assume overall.
So you got to be close to the end of the story then.
Yeah. 79% through the game. And I think I didn't look at my save time, but right next to the percentage it has placed like my game time on the PlayStation, it was like 81 hours. So it's getting up there. That clock's getting up there. But I'm loving it so much. Loving every second. I think that's what it said. That doesn't sound right, but I need to check my save time because that's going to be more accurate what my actually like in-game clock is. Because the problem with the PlayStation clock is like if I leave it awake for a few hours, like I don't put it to sleep or something, and it's just sitting there idle, it's counting. Where the save time doesn't do that. Yeah. But I've also been playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm trying to think of the world I went to last time. I finally beat the stupid cars. I did Pirates of the Caribbean. That was all last week. What did I do this week? Were you there, Adrian? You weren't there, were you? I thought you stopped in.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, I did something in Kingdom Hearts. It wasn't that memorable, I guess. It's fine so far still. Again, I'm like, the worlds are like, all right, these are fine. What I love most about the game is when it finally gives me more story about like what's happening just in the overarching story. Like,
right.
I'm really like, all right, these little stupid little like side things that I'm doing in these worlds are fine, but it's kind of like, I just want it more about like what the craziness is happening in the world.
In time.
Oh, I know what happened. I did Halloween Town. That's what it was. Because you
didn't like Halloween Town?
I did. That was fun. No, but here's what happened. I actually went to Little Mermaid, Atlantica or whatever, and everyone in the chat immediately was like, oh no. And I was like, what's going on? And
it has a reputation. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. I'm going to let you form your own opinion about it.
I didn't like it in the first game. And so I was like, I hope this is better than the first game. And everyone's like, it's not. And I was like, what? And no, they told me, they all shared. They're like, basically it's a big mini game. Like there's no combat. It's like a dancing like mini game basically the whole time. They're like, you and even Selks was in the chat. He's like, you don't even have to play this one. Like you can beat the game without even going there. I'm like, there's nothing. Are you sure? There's nothing here I need. And he's like, no. I'm like, all right. So I immediately
there is something there you need, an experience, sir. You need to experience Atlantica again. What are you talking about?
Oh man. If you show up to a stream, then I'll do it. You got to show up and force me to do it. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to skip it. But so I went on to Halloween Town though, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I enjoyed that. Although like I talked about it on the stream, but I'm like, I never got the hype around Nightmare Before Christmas. Like I had friends in like cousins, family, like who were just, that was their whole being, their whole identity. They just loved this movie so much every holiday.
I was going to say it's very good, but I don't know about basing your whole identity on it.
Like
your whole personality.
They had the hoodies from Hot Topic, and they had the backpack and like the keychains and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't understand it. And like I got friends at school like would be like, oh, it's my favorite movie of all time, greatest movie ever made. And I remember like when I finally watched it, I was older. I was probably like 17 or 18. Like I didn't watch it as a kid. Because I wasn't allowed to when I was a kid. My parents were like, that's too creepy. It was funny as we watched it later, like as a family, and my parents were like, that was so dumb. Like it wasn't at all what they thought. They're like, we should just like, it was funny looking back. They're like, we should have just watched it back then. It wasn't a big deal. But even then, like, yeah. And then watching it when we were older, like, it wasn't that good either. Like it's fine. It's not a bad movie, but the people get so hyped over that whole like IP.
I think it's also the craftsmanship that goes into it as well.
Yeah,
it's a very finely crafted movie.
It's impressive.
As far as like the stop motion.
Yeah, the stop motion and the art and all that stuff is impressive and interesting. But yeah, it was just kind of like, the movie itself was okay. But anyways, I enjoyed the world though. I love the characters' skins, how they change Sora and Donald and Goofy. And then I love, and apparently, so there's someone who's been in my chat on Twitch, kind of backseating a little bit, which is allowed in my streams. I say backseating allowed because I need all the help I can get.
My alt account. You found my alt account.
His name is Entertainment Fan. Their name, I don't know if their name is Entertainment Fan, and they have been such an incredible help. They told me that apparently it's exclusive to the HD remix games. But when you go to Christmas Town, you get the Christmas outfits. Apparently in the original one, you didn't. You stayed in the Halloween outfits. But in the HD remix, you get and I love that too. I'm like, that's so awesome. I love Sora's like black Santa suit. And then the other ones being like snowman and whatever. Very good. But Entertainment Fan also helped me build a gummy ship. Because you know how much I hate the gummy ship sections. It's the worst part of the game.
Yes. But you can go right through. You don't ever have to touch the gummy ship if you don't want to.
Well, yeah, and I didn't, but that doesn't change the fact that it still sucked. Like I would get halfway through and then die and have to do it over again. Like there was a one of the gummy ship points where I died like 5 times in a row, and I was like, I just want to get to frickin' wherever I need to go.
Do you want a cheat code for the gummy ship?
Well, that's what I was about to tell you. Entertainment Fan jumps in. He's like, there's a ship called the Donut Ship.
Yep.
You need to build one of these. And immediately I was like, Entertainment Fan, you are the frickin' MVP of my whole playthrough, because if I could just skip those entirely, I would, but I can't. But this is the next best thing, because I can just hold the button down, it auto fires, I don't get hit, and I just sit there and talk with the chat while I'm going through this.
It's called immersion, you Philistine.
There's nothing immersive about it. Half the
You're
time,
supposed to be on the journey. You're traveling from world to world. It's part of the journey.
Half of the things don't have anything to do with the world you're in anyways. Anyway, this is like a bunch of random crap you gotta fight. A bunch of triangles and cylinders, a bunch of soup cans flying at you. Like, I don't even understand what this is. Why couldn't they just put real spaceships in there? Why are they using this?
Probably because some goober or some organization will come up and be like, oh, those are actually our designs, we're gonna sue you. So it's probably just to be on the safe side.
Just a bunch of Microsoft Paint shapes flying at you. I hate it. It's so
a bunch of clip art.
So shout out to Entertainment Fan. You're the real MVP there pretty much every time I stream, and I love it. So great. And I called the ship D's Nuts, so there's that.
Oh, clever.
No one's ever thought of that one before. All right, that is it for the show today. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. Whether you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/SuperGamerBoys, whether you're watching or listening, over on podcast apps. In fact, there's a new podcast app that you can listen to us on. We just got added to a new service. They reached out to me. They're from the UK. Boy, governor.
I was getting ready to say, you got us managed by some blokes?
No.
Huh?
So
by some mates?
We're not, it's not like what we were in before. It's not like any sort of like a network or anything. They're simply just a podcast app. And they host video game specific podcast on it. And they reached out to me and said, hey, would you like your show to be featured on our app? And I said, does it cost any money? And they said no. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. So yeah, all it is, it's called TerraPlayer, the TerraPlayer app. And it's just an app that's all video game podcast and video game radio stations where it just plays video game music, soundtrack music and stuff on these stations. So if you're interested in that type of thing, if you just love listening to video game soundtracks or listening to video game podcasts and you just want it all in one spot, check out TerraPlayer. It's kind of cool. And all of our shows is there. Super Gamer Boys is there, Super Gamer Book Club, and Super Dungeon Boys even, which I was surprised because it's technically not a video game, but they brought that one over too if you want to listen to our D&D podcast. So yeah, TerraPlayer. That's pretty cool. So you can listen to our podcast literally everywhere. That's right. Even the ones you haven't even heard about yet. You can also, let me find my show notes. I'm getting off track here. You can support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, as we discussed earlier. Remember, $1 a month, you get episodes early and ad free. So think about supporting us over there. Check out some of those other tiers. See what you think. sgbstore.com. You can buy some sweet merch. We got hats, we got t-shirts, we got coffee mugs, we got stickers, we got all sorts of stuff. And then rate and reviews where you can over on iTunes, preferably. Apple is the big dog, so go over there, drop some 5 stars. But I think Spotify does ratings now too. So if you listen to us on Spotify, which if you have a Spotify account, and you should go over and check out our page over there, because a lot of times with the episodes, we actually drop questions. You can it's wild because we host on Spotify now. You can actually answer Q&A questions or multiple choice, like a poll. They have a poll and a question. So go over there, check it out. You can even watch the video version straight through Spotify. You don't have to watch it on YouTube if you're a weirdo. Spotify is figuring some things out. It's kind of cool. Shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. Remember to go find DJ Trooz. That's who you're listening to right now. It's my DJ Trooz playlist over on Apple Music and Spotify. They are incredible, and you should listen to them all the time. You can find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. You can find me over on Twitter and Instagram at Morlang. Adrian, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
And with that, I believe we are out, but I just do want to say a quick thank you to Spiffy for the sub. Look at that. We tell you to sub, and he does it. What a good lad. I appreciate it. All right. Anyways, Adrian, you can take us out of the show now.
Sounds like a plan, folks. Thank you for hanging out and listening for another week and another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As always, we appreciate any and all support in any form that you can give it, whether it's just hanging out with us here on the live show, listening on audio podcast services, or telling a friend. You never know who might be into it. Until next time. Yeah, this was a short one because I gotta figure, we gotta workshop a couple of things.
Oh boy.
Until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Now listen, you could have named your ship Disnuts. Okay? The first part could have been Disney, right? It's the first part of Disney. You goofed. Big time. You should have consulted. All right? You're so worried about entertainment fans' opinion.